Still Morning Rush on Metro Television. Like we said, today is 11th July 2023 and it's World Population Day. And we'll be speaking to someone from PPAG, Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana, to talk about population, why we even have to have this conversation. So joining us on phone is NAADU AWURAJOA ADDICO, who is a project coordinator for PPAG. NAADU, if you can hear me, good morning and welcome to Morning Rush.
Good morning. Good morning, sorry.
I hope you are good.
Yes, very good and excited.
Wow.
Great.
Then let's begin the conversation. It's World Population Day. And I know there are different reports that have stated that India and Africa have, the population has increased over the years. One will ask, on a day like this, why should there be even a conversation about world population?
Okay, thank you so much. So, conversation about population is very, very important because it affects other areas of development. What I'm trying to say is that the numbers, population versus like the number of people living in an area, it has a direct relation to how we distribute resources. So it even helps governments or countries to even project to make sure that its members or populace are well taken care of. And for we at PPAG, the reason why we joined to celebrate World Population Day is that it really affects health in particular, because if a population of a country is more than its health infrastructure, you have more people dying because the hospitals are not enough to cater for them. You have overcrowding issue, which even brings a lot of health implications like communicable diseases and whatnot. And even overall our economic growth, if we don't have a strong economy to be able to provide the jobs or ensure that the people in the country are not well taken care of, we are doomed and we are heading for crisis. So there's a need to talk about population and making sure that we are controlling population in the sense that the number of people in a country matches the country's resources. Then we have a level of stability. But in a case where a country's population is more than its economic resources, then it's a recipe for disaster. So there's a need to control population growth to make sure that overall everybody in the country is well taken care of. So that is why for us at PPAG and also in general, population issues are really essential to discuss and shed light on.
Okay. Let's narrow it down to Ghana. If we look at our situation from your perspective, is this something that we should be cautious about? Is this something that we should be scared about, or we are just okay?
Yes, so currently Ghana's population is about 32 million. And like I'm saying, we only have a cause to worry. Currently, our economy is not very strong. Of course, the government has kept measures in place to stabilize through the IMF initiative and whatnot, which is good. So as at now, I would say that there's a need for us to worry a bit because, like I said, for us to have that same stability, our population should match our economic growth. And right now, Ghana's economy is not really on good standing to match our increasing population. So it means that either we are putting in place measures to control the rapid growth so that it matches with our current economic situation, or the other hand is putting measures to boost our economy to support our rapid economic growth. So in Ghana, what we can do is adopt the means that we are talking about, educate, bring awareness to people to control their fertility, so that people are giving birth to the number of children they can take care of initially, because we all share certain social amenities. So the schools, the health, the public places. If we don't control our population, they will be overburdened, and the structures will begin to collapse. like again I said, our economy is not really of good standing to support or absorb all these shocks. So in Ghana's perspective, I would say there's a cause to worry, not like excessively, but we need to put measures in place. Even in countries where they have it all or they are stable, they still make sure that they are putting measures to make it stable. Not the pattern shouldn't change. So this is what I have to say about the Ghana context.
Yeah, putting in the measures. I mean, we've seen countries cap their birth rates and so on and so forth. Do you think Ghana, we've gotten to the point where we have to put measures in place to be able to cap this whole birth rate situation in the country?
Yeah, so I'm presuming we are trying to do the liking of China. I think that Ghana, those measures are, let's say, the extreme form of putting measures where you want to put a law in place to cap the number of birth people should give birth to, as a cause to decrease birth rate. Yeah. But I think Ghana has not gotten to that extreme point here, and that using that approach has pros and cons. But from my perspective, the cons outweighs the pros, and I'll come to that. For Ghana, in our situation, what we can do is to bring awareness on contraceptives and family planning. Yeah. I'm sure people are wondering, how can family planning come to play? Because when people go on birth control method, it's not the government telling them don't give birth, or the myth out there that when you go use a contraceptive, they are trying to tell you to know. It's only you planning in its name that, okay, if it's 3, I'm going to give birth 2 or 2. I'm spacing them. I've decided on this number. Again, it comes back to the benefit of controlling our population so that we don't have all these negative consequences that I mentioned earlier. And also, with putting a cap on the number of birth or children people to have. In the case of China, the long-term adverse effect was forced. There were reports of forced sterilization, where unscrupulous people took the law in their own hands and were forcing women to do the permanent family planning method, which family planning is supposed to be by choice. And for a person to do, it's not supposed to be coercion. Once coercion is involved, it's criminal. So where women were forced to go under surgical procedures so they don't have to give birth. Another extreme form was infanticide, where people were killing children. And the Chinese culture is also adopts the patrilineal lineage, sort of where male children are accorded more reverence than females. So you had couple, if I'm supposed to just give birth to one, and they go and do a scan and it's a girl, they decide to terminate the case just to keep a boy, because the presumption is that the boy will carry on their lineage or their family name, sort of. So these are some of the extreme forms of putting a cap on, so people should give birth to only one. Rather, what we can do is intensify the awareness, because there's still a lot of unmet need for family planning, which basically is that there are people out there that really want to control their birth. If you speak to many women, they'll tell them, my pregnancy by mistake, or man planning. But meaning if they get something, they'll protect themselves, but even they don't know what to use or even where to get the services. So there should be more awareness on the positive of contraception. I know there's a lot of myths and misconceptions. Maybe we find another day where we can delve into my discussion earlier. But the positive is that family planning does not stop you from giving birth or affect your fertility. It only gives the woman or a couple a level of autonomy, and which is in direct link of what the theme for this year has to do with unleashing the power of gender equality. And gender equality is more of like both sexes having equal opportunities and whatnot. So where you are talking about the use of contraceptive to to control our population. We're also creating an awareness that women should have the autonomy to decide the number of kids that they want to, when and how. All these benefits for the India trickles down to the government and overall stabilizes our economy. And so this is what I have to say on that. So just in summary, I think we are not there at the extreme to impose on people the number of children they should have, but rather let's intensify the awareness and also the accessibility. There are some places that they don't even have access to the family planning, and again, it's about choice. So even the methods are an array for people to choose in the one that they want. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, I was even going to come to the theme. Why I know that today your organization, PPAG, and some other development partners are going to have a program sort of to commemorate this particular day. Tell us about it.
Yes, so the program is in celebration of World Population Day, It's going to be at Holiday in Bound, it's a closed event, but it's going to be live stream on Facebook. So I encourage all your listeners and viewers to watch live on UNFPA's website, Facebook page, and to join the conversations. And also, we are just trying to create discourse to bring awareness, and especially to young people in this whole conversation. We want to harness what we call demographic dividend, where just throwing in the Ghana's age structure, we have more young people within the age of 15 to 24 years. And these young people, if they receive right education or the empowerment they need, there will be a strong workforce, and they will boost Ghana's economy because their number outweighs the dependent population, that's the older people.
Okay.
In the case where we have the reverse, where Ghana's senior citizens are more than the working force, it would affect our overall economic growth. So these young people, that's why for us as PPAG again and all the development, we are particular about the conversation of young people in this population discourse, wanting to empower them so that they are employed with skills, or they are empowered so that they can be productive and contribute more to the economy to sustain us in the future there. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate the conversation. Yeah, we wish you a successful event too.
Yep.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you too.
Thank you, PPAG. PPAG in Cape Coast. They've been going around the schools to educate, to tell young people especially how they could protect themselves, not to increase the numbers already. We have, like she said, if the population is more and the facilities, the amenities are less, then there's a problem.
Exactly.
There needs to be
a balance.
Balance in that. So
But I think the awareness now, like she mentioned, most women now feel like they want to go and understand the use of contraceptives, how it works, and what they can do to prevent, even though they are married, some don't want pregnancy. So I'll say, quote unquote, unwanted pregnancies. So, I mean, the education isn't there because there are so many myths about contraceptive. When you take it too much, it worries your womb. You can't give it at a point in time, and a whole lot of things. So I think the awareness should be more. It should come back. And I know PPAG, they are trying their best. They are doing amazing a lot of work. And since, I think they've been here before, since last year, they keep talking about contraceptive and everything. But then I think we have to come back to that conversation because, and on a day like this, World Population Day, dear, and the population keeps increasing.
And the population is increasing, then you need to find more food for the mouths. No, but that's what it is.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, true. Imagine.
But do you think what I asked him can be possible? The capping of the birth rates
in Africa.
In Africa,
yes, in our Africa.
Yes.
What happened?
Like there are advantages and disadvantages.
Yes, I understand, but I'm looking at it even from the cultural perspective.
Good. That's the main problem.
It will be a challenge there. And even, we quote the Bible that Moses and I see.
Yes.
So it will be a bit of a challenge.
God said we should multiply.
Yeah, but the thing is that you need to make sure that if you're giving birth, you're able to take care of the child, so that because the ripple effect of it is a lot.
Yeah,
because
especially on the child.
Yes, if you're not able to take care of the child will leave home. The child would, if they find anything to do which is not right in the society, they get to do that, harm the society. And it continues like that. They'll also get someone pregnant, and it continues. The cycle continues like that. So we need to be more careful with that.
And what she said about people saying, normally parents say that, oh, man, you are the first one, so I don't think that was it. For me, I used to hear that a lot.
I think it's kind of like.
Because my brothers are older than me, like 11 and 9 years. So it's a pension baby.
Okay, all right. So that's it about World Population Day. Take note of the day, and let's all do well to support them.